Greetings from the Fredericktown homestead. Mike, the creator, as he's known, is working on another creation. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 4. You guys can count better than I can. It's a 4-rabbit hutch. Isn't that something? And it's held together by these little, where am I? Here, right there. Right there. Little clipper things. We got a tool and 300 or 600. I can't remember.
3, I believe.
300. It's just a simple pair of pliers. Show them the pliers. It's that's what binds them. You do 3 separate steps. You wrap each of those 3 around the 2 wires. And if you don't have one of those and you're making a rabbit hutch, you ought to really invest in one. What did we pay? 12 bucks?
12 or 14.
Maybe it was 14. 14 for 300 clips and the pliers. And if you want another, was it 1,000 or?
600 of them.
600?
I want to say that was the
12.
Yes.
600 for 12 for the clips alone. But they're rugged, they're strong. He's putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each side, going up the back and across the bottom. Well, I say across the side and up the bottom, but actually, I believe the bottom is on this side. Yeah, that's the bottom. And the bottom will be wire cloth. And those things will also work on 1/2-inch wire cloth, I believe, will they?
Oh, yeah.
They'll fit into a hole on a wire cloth. And
I have a scrap piece floating around here somewhere. Give me just a moment. Where'd you put the end, Mike?
we don't want to throw that away. That could be very useful.
You think so?
I think so. Oh, it fits like a charm. So there you go. You put 2 of those, or 1 of those in the 1x2 wire, and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, don't throw away wire cloth. Let's keep that. You never know. You might be building a whatever and need that, especially since you got that crimping machine. Yeah, the bottom will hold all the up and down walls perfect. One thing about keeping everything that you might use is if you look at our shop, we have a lot of scraps that we might use someday. Yeah. Well, that's quite a creation. What I've been doing is much more mundane. I've gone back to making more 4.5s right here. Cherry. That's for the sliding doors on the pantry and the stairs. We have multiple rainy days coming up, and I thought we'll get the staining table back in here. It's been used for the smoker table just right now, but these are all 4-side planed 4.5s, and where am I looking here? Somewhere here. This pile here, yes, this pile here still needs some of its edges done. I put them in the wrong place, but you can see that most of them have their edges done. And I'm just trying to make enough material ahead of time so when we go to make doors, we've got the materials. These are all planed. That's a wild kitty there. This last litter we had 3, and 2 of them are still feral, and one of them, of course, is Figaro inside. Yeah, these are all planed. I got to get more linseed oil to dilute the red. There's too much red in our oil. I got these 2 long pieces to make something out of. And I got these to plane right here. I've got a 1 o'clock pickup, which will take me until dark, I think. It's multiple runs running into one another. But this is what Mike's doing intrigued me, so I turned on the camera and came over here. You know, a lot of these projects we're doing are raw. And by raw, I mean we start off with nothing more than an idea, and we warp and mutate that idea until it takes shape and actually becomes something. What number did you come up with?
90. I just wanted to double check.
90. 90 for 4. Those are inches, I think. Oh, quite a project. The idea is to have individual rabbit hutches for each rabbit. Somewhere here we got a rabbit box. I don't know where that went to, but...
It's sitting here under the bench.
Ah, there it is. I showed you that earlier this morning. Each one will get one of those on the outside of this enclosure. This here is just your exercise yard, I guess you'd call it, for each of the rabbits. They can come out here and they can run around in circles and run back in. But each one of them gets a box like that. Hopefully, by making those boxes, we'll use up some of this thin stuff I've got on the rack. Of course, I can always make more thin stuff. See, some of this might be made into those boxes. It's just planed down a little bit thinner. There's Mama Kitty with one of her feral kittens having a drink. Figaro's all weaned and inside. A lot of wood. Everywhere you look, there's wood. We need to get back to staining and finishing, and I'm working on planing, but as always, the wheelbarrow's getting full of shavings. It's a beautiful day. Let me tell you the story of the bologna while I got you on here. Don't hang up. The bologna, I went to the butcher's shop and I said, now I got some bologna from, and I told him his name, and he wanted me to try smoking it. I got a smoker set up, and so he gave it to me. It was in this wrapper. And I said, well, how does that work? Is it, do you smoke right inside a wrapper? And he said, yep, that wrapper is parchment actually. And he got one. And he showed me, and he says it was the same stuff. And he says, yep, we smoke right inside that, and it's porous, and the smoke goes right through. So we're learning. Like I say, all these ideas are new to us. We're raw. We're learning as we go. So we now know that the parchment that the bologna comes in is smoke soluble or smoke penetratable, whatever the word I want is. That's not, neither one of those are the one I want, but look it up in Funk and Wagnall. Smoke goes through the parchment paper, so you can smoke right in parchment. So we know that now for next time. I actually bought 2 parchment papers from him, just because, charged me $2 for them. That's not bad. That's for the amount of information he gave me. And then I said to him, well, how do you cure it? How do you soak it? Do you soak it before you put it in the parchment, or do you put it in the parchment and then soak it? Do you use Red Man, or do you use Morton, or what do you use to actually cure the sausage, the bologna? And he's, oh, well, we use Instant Cure. It's a white powder. We just mix it right in with the meat after we grind it, and then we put it into the parchment. And no need to soak it at all. You just put in Instant Cure. And all I could see was red flags. I said, you mean like you put in something like Roundup into your sausage? That's what I said to myself. I didn't say it to him, but that's what I was thinking. That didn't sound like anything I wanted to eat. Something in white powder you just put into your sausage and it's instantly cured. You don't use salt. You don't use Instant Cure. No thanks. So that's what they do. This is a 5-generation butcher shop, slaughterhouse not slaughterhouse, I guess you wouldn't call it, but for deer meat and for pork and beef. Since coronavirus came, they've allowed the wild game places to also do beef and pork. But that's one of the benefits of masks and coronavirus and all that. But one of the disadvantages is if you get bologna from him or from any Amishman that sends stuff to him, you're going to be eating Instant Cure. I just thought I'd share that with you. Comment. Tell me what you think. Oh, and if you aren't a subscriber, we could use a few more subscribers. Like 350 more, something. We could use more than that. We could use all the subscribers we can get. The smoker out here will be taken apart today, I guess, because I went to return the bologna and they weren't home. So we'll be taking apart the smoker. We need those sawhorses for staining finished wood, and put the stove part back in the corn crib. Probably the smoker will go in there too. The sawhorses will come in here. And it's sitting on 2 beautiful cherry boards that I'd love to get my hands on to plane up. Wood's getting processed, but not very quickly. That's the wagon I did on Saturday, and it's now Wednesday. Maybe I did it on Sunday. But, yeah, the wood is slowly getting processed. We got our stove out right now. Our stove is not on because of the warm weather. But we are expecting cold temperatures again. It is November. We'll be getting the stove on and start consuming wood again. But, there you go. We have a quite major failure on one of our projects. You know, you try things, some win, some lose. Well, we had a major loss. I asked Mike to put 3 roosters out, and it worked famously for the first day. Bear Dog was a good dog that day. He slept all day because he'd been chasing coyotes all night, much like he is right now. He's sleeping there by the wood. That's Bear sleeping. But when he woke up yesterday, I wasn't here, but there were 3 roosters out. He killed 2 out of 3. Didn't kill them, but made them so that they could no longer live. Broke them into many pieces. And I would say putting the roosters out was one failure, and Bear is another failure. I'd say because I wasn't here during his puppyhood, we didn't have any animals for him, and he grew up to be too big before we had animals, and I would say Bear is a failure. And I'm afraid that Bear is going to have to go to the animal rescue to be put down. He's not any good for a pet. He's not any good for a guard dog. He's not any good. He needs to be put down, unfortunately. So that's another failure. You win some, you lose some. That's a big loss, Bear. That was just because that was mostly my fault. I didn't know how to find the responses on Facebook. They were coming in, my responses to my request for somebody to come live at the farm, but I didn't know how to find them. If you're not my friend, I couldn't find your response. So a lot of time went by. Mike and his family came, but came too late for Bear. Bear was already too big and had too many bad habits, and he does bite. Uses biting as a gesture, I guess you'd say, and if you're around him, you got to expect to be bitten. And not too hard, but it's a dog bite nonetheless, and that's a hanging offense. So Bear is headed for the animal rescue probably tomorrow, hopefully. Well, it won't be tomorrow. I got run all day tomorrow, but ASAP, Bear is going to be dispensed with. So say your final goodbyes to Bear. You win some, you lose some. You don't win them all. And you just got to realize that when you're homesteading. All right. God bless.